Now, we are thrilled to introduce two outstanding women. Vogue's Spain editor-in-chief Yolanda Sacristan and French model, music producer, and iconic French chic muse Caroline de Maigret. Caroline has recently published a book, How to be Parisian, and we'll chat with Yolanda about this je ne sais quoi that makes French women an inspiration for all of us. Please welcome Caroline de Maigret et Yolanda Sacristan.
I'm not going to give you back to the money. Hey. Yeah, I'm still at the show. Now I'm backstage. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. No, I loved it. I thought the colors, the shapes, the rest were really cool. Volume, no?
Okay, I think because we don't have many time, I think the video is like with no sound, so we can speak.
Yeah, because it's all about
we can
the sound.
speak more. Okay, so you all know Caroline de Maigret. She's probably the most important French influencer from Paris, and also she's a very special woman because she's different in a world where beauty is important. The kind of commercial beauty came out, Caroline, like in a very different way, and now this is about disruption, and I think Caroline really represents this. Starting from when you were very young and you were studying literature, how come you decided to go into the fashion world, and how did you feel in a society that were not very keen into the young girls?
And the family.
Yeah, in the family.
Yeah, I think it's always quite difficult when you don't have one passion. To find what you want to do, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 18, and so I was like, well, I'm going to go and study literature, so at least I'll read some books. And then, I was at university, and I was a bit bored, although the books were great, but it's not what I wanted to do. And I wanted to study art, but my parents didn't want me to study art because it wasn't much of a job. So the only way I had to leave my life was to leave the house. But to leave the house, I needed to make money. So I decided, and I was being asked in the street to model, so I decided to model. And I got really lucky because it worked right away, and I was able to, get an apartment and pay rent. And so that's how I started modeling.
Great. And have you ever felt like weird doing fashion industry because you were different? You were not the kind of maybe model, like blonde and like commercial that was working?
I was asked to have a nose job and boobs job and everything. Especially it was in the 90s where with Claudia Schiffer and Cindy Crawford with all those perfect women. But I don't know. I mean, fashion has different speeds. And sometimes, some women need more authenticities, even though you're selling more glamour. There is some for everyone, I think.
And today is a good time for the different beauty, like brand support, diversity. Do you remember specific situations in the past where you didn't feel like that was your time, or that you didn't integrate in that world?
Yeah, I was always a bit bigger, it didn't really work out so well when I was just a model.
So you had,
I was doing catalogs and FG editorials, but it wasn't an amazing career really. And then it really took up when 5 years ago Karl Lagerfeld asked me to come back and do his fashion show. That's when. I was a mother, and I was a music producer, and I was full with all this luggage, and that's when I think my face went with my mind, and I had something to give to women, which wasn't the case before. So suddenly I had something, where women could look up to. I had a story to tell.
Yeah,
that was more inspiring, I guess, than just my face, which wasn't that inspiring.
Yeah,
especially today, where I'm full of cortisone and super sick, but I'm happy to be here.
Caroline came yesterday, and she felt really sick, so We have to thank her to be,
Thank you
to
for
be
being
here.
here.
Now that the industry has changed like huge because of all this Instagram and the Insta girls. So now like I feel like we all have in the fashion industry another job, which is to post everything. So how do you feel about this phenomenon? You have almost 500,000 followers in Instagram and you are very active, but you have also personality saying very strong things like pushing women to be strong and different and sort of feminist in a way. So how do you feel?
Well, it's just as a public figure, it's hard sometimes when you're only in magazines because you only give an image, and Instagram gave me a voice. So for me, it's a real treat. It's more of a 360-degree thing. Although I don't put anything intimate. You don't know with whom I'm having dinner or who are my friends, but you always know in which city I am and everything. And yeah, I'm a woman with qualities and flaws, and I like to share it with people. I like to make fun of myself in Instagram. I like to, if I'm angry at a pro-choice, abortion law or something, I'm going to tell about it, and some people are not going to be happy, some people are going to be happy. I don't really care, honestly. I'm just happy that I pass one message that I believe in. And I feel very fortunate because the 500,000 people that are following me are of a great quality of people, and I think that's what they're expecting from me anyway. It's to share my ideas as well. I'm not a pretty face. I wish, but I'm not.
You are anyway. So I don't like in fashion that everyone nowadays seems to be like upset or a serious face, and in ad campaigns and in the fashion industry as well, in some groups, you have to be like cool in a way that you have to be serious or not really, smiling very much, and you are very different with that. What do you don't like about fashion, and how do you feel being like this, the Parisian that smiles to everyone and being nice to everyone?
I feel very fortunate in what I do and very grateful. So when I feel like smiling, I smile. The thing is, as a fashion editor of Vogue, that many of the fashion images are often more interesting when you don't smile. So
yeah, I don't like that. We have to change it.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I think they're beautiful fashion images, and sometimes when it smiles, you take off a certain mystery, and So I'm really for the not smiling pictures as well. It's part of a creativity and a image concept, so it's fine. It's just in real life that I have a tendency to smile more. Maybe I think it fits me better. Like now that my lines are going down, it's like I just look better when I smile. Like right now. I'm not going to forbid myself to do things to look cool. No, that's. When you try to look cool, you're never cool.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't work that way.
Now, do you talk about age and the lines in the face? How do you feel about aging in the world that is looking so into the perfection, and with all the actresses in Hollywood doing things in her face, in their face or bodies sooner every time? How do you feel about this?
About aging, I don't like it. It's not a nice feeling to see suddenly your body change and the skin getting softer and all this. It's not a nice feeling, but it's life. I have to say that I'm very lucky, and I know compared to a lot of women because I'm being photographed. So for my mind, it's easier to age, while people still say, oh, you're inspiring me. Then it's easier to look at yourself, because even though you don't like the image, you're like, oh, but it's still working, so it's okay, I'm very scared of all those things. I'm so scared. I would love to do it, honestly. I would. I'm so scared that my face would change.
Yeah, it's a danger.
It's just this. Because honestly, I would run to do it. You know, the day we'll find something where it's just... And lasers look quite cool. I just sent my agent to do it, so I'm waiting to see when it's gonna...
That's a good one to,
Yeah, well,
to experiment
it's
with.
true. Yeah.
2 years ago, you launched your book, How to Be Parisian, Wherever You Are. What makes Parisian women different, and what is the one of a Parisian singular, I mean, is the personality that makes it different, or...
I think there is one thing in the Parisian thing, and it's actually quite Spanish as well, I guess, but we don't really want to show a difference between our personality and the physical aspect. So there is always this idea of trying to get the best out of you, but still, you know, stay yourself. You're not looking for perfection. But it was very interesting when I wrote the book. I really understood how we're positioned between the north and the south and the east and the west. It's really like, you know, we have like this influence from the north and the feminism, and you know, and they're pushing us to, you know, to be strong. And then you have the south, like you guys, that are more Latin and more about the body and seduction, and then you have the Western influence of America and sportswear and feeling comfortable in your everyday life. And then you have the drama from the East, you know, and letting yourself be a horrible bitch when you feel like being a horrible bitch. And there's all this mesclun of things. So it's quite interesting. And then at the same time, me as a Parisian, I know that I have on my shoulders my mother and my grandmother that went down in the streets to fight for my rights as a woman. And I think a lot of Parisians have this in their mind that we carry a responsibility towards women, not to be too futile, you know, and take care of your brain as well than your physique. And it's almost sometimes, I mean, today I'm really sick, so it's really, I mean, I'm sorry. I look like a mess, but sometimes it's true that you have a tendency of not wanting people to think you spend an hour taking care of yourself because you want to look more intellectual in a way that you don't have time for that. So it's a bit snobbish.
What is the best advice in you know, through your career? As you were saying before, you not only have been a model but also musician, producer.
Not a musician.
Music
producer.
Music producer, and now you're a writer and you're a cultural person in very high standards. What is the best advice you have received, or what would you know, tell your kids for the future, you know, when they start in a job or working in the real world?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be big cliches. I think first of all, it's to be curious, you know? And even when you feel lazy or tired, you should always push yourself to do things and to go to an exhibition, to a movie, to a concert. And what else? Yeah, I think not to be lazy. Lazy is boring. And you know, it's fun to try to say yes to things. So unexpected things happen in your life, and unexpected, you know, you meet people that you weren't supposed to because you just decided to follow someone. Instead of saying, oh no, I have to go back home and work. And it's okay, you'll work at 2 in the morning on your computer. And I don't know, I just always push myself that unexpected things to happen. And the last thing I would say is not to be scared of not succeeding. I've done so many things that didn't succeed, but I learned from it. And my music label was not successful, and I stopped it. The music production works really well. You know, and you plant seeds, and sometimes they grow, sometimes they don't. And then when they grow, it's funny because there's like a pollination. Everything starts to grow together because people trust you. But yeah, do things. Do in the American way, you know. And if it's sincere, it will work out. I'd say.
Being also a celebrity, because you also are a muse of some of the most important brands like Chanel or Lancome, and you have done a lot of fashion films. What is the most exciting factor about being popular person, or you feel you don't like it very much when being so popular?
I'm not so popular. No.
In Spain, you are quite.
No, I have to say I refuse every TV shows in France or anything that's too public, because I really don't want to become a public figure. I'm very happy that I'm celebrated in fashion and in luxury. I feel very grateful, and I'm very happy because the people that recognize me in the street, they're special, and they like me for the right reasons. Not just because they saw me on TV or something, I don't know. And I really don't want that, and I'm so scared. Yesterday when I was with Gigi Hadid, well, I was for a second, because then suddenly like a revolution happened in the streets, and I'm like, who would want such a level of fame? It's
insane. Yeah.
It's insane, but that's a different, There was another question in your question.
If you regret something about being popular, or you...
No. And the good thing about being popular is that people follow you in your ideas. That's a real treat. That's what I didn't have before. So, people trust you, and you have an idea, and they say, okay, let's do it. And that's incredible.
Is there any role which you would like to play in the future? Like, you have been writer and modeling and all that. How do you see yourself in, like, let's say 2 years? Because after 2 years now, it's like a decade, in 2, 3, 4 years.
Well,
You have written another book?
I'm quite an activist in women's rights. I've been following women's education and kids' education around the world. So this, for sure, especially right now we're going back. So I really want to involve myself more. No, I don't know. It's full of surprises. I'm writing a new book right now.
Yeah, about? You can say it, or about?
No, it's even more intimate than the other one. It's about neuroses, which I'm full of. I don't know. Life will tell. I love doing videos. I love writing videos. So I think I want to do more of this, because I think it's a great way of talking while having fun. And I think you can post really strong messages through humor. And so I want to develop this even more.
Now you're like a style icon for many women also as well, and for people. What are your style tips, or you don't have any tip? Maybe you just put on together whatever you find and that makes great, or what are your?
No, well, usually, it depends in the morning how you feel. Sometimes I'm full of hormones. Sometimes, sometimes I just need no one to bug me, so I have a leather jacket, and it's like a shell. No, what is true is I always have one strong piece that I take to be stylish, and then I put just the good basics to go with it. Just one strong piece for me. If not, I feel disguised. And if you don't have one strong piece, then you're a bit boring. So that's one of my tricks, is one strong piece with basics. And then I found a new trick last year. Maybe that's because I'm aging, I don't know. But it's when you look at yourself in the mirror, I put a total abstraction on my face. So I have no emotion in the way I dress myself. So when I look at myself in the mirror, I never look at my face.
You don't look at your face?
No.
Mm?
That way, you just see your outfit as a stylist, as in a magazine. You just, it could be anyone. You're like, oh, wow, I would put a belt there. And if not, I just oh, fuck, I'm fat. And so it's a good trick,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good trick.
A good one, yeah, I'll try.
Yeah. Well, for me, it works.
Conde Monroe's Nast, you know, Conde Nast founder, had a motto that said, class, not mass. What place do class have in a mass world? What place class have in a mass world? You know, we are massive now, we are everywhere, we are in the social media, everyone can like look into your life any time, and they feel like they know you because they follow you maybe. And what does class have to do with all this massive world that we are going
Class,
through?
like classy?
Like having class, or or not being so popular in a way. Difficult.
No, I mean, I don't know. Do you think it?
No, I think
I don't know if there is interference between all those modernism and social media and class. I mean, you know, someone that takes care of the others, that listens to people, that is trying to do good. That's what class is for me. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I think we don't have more time, so I think we've gone through all more or less. I wish I had 1 hour to continue.
I thought
so I just say thank you to Caroline.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And hope to see you soon.